Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 24 career mode. This is episode number 31 today for the British Grand Prix in Season 2. If you guys did miss the previous one in Austria, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Obviously a sprint weekend, so double the action, and boy did we get some action and a half in that episode. It was a real topsy-turvy one with rain involved, which always throws up a little bit of a spanner in the works. We had our title rival Fernando Alonso spinning us halfway through a race, and a recovery drive after a poor qualifying, and a blinder of a strategy, really going for the 300 IQ, trying to get the track position, and it worked. It worked out for us. We successfully went from 10th place on the grid to 1st place in the main Grand Prix to take victory around the Red Bull Ring, but it was a necessary victory because Fernando Alonso was right up there. He would have been second. In the end, it was third because we pushed him and Russell down the order. We held them off at the end, and we lead the championship by 11 points. But that race really did solidify for me that Fernando Alonso, he is here to really challenge for the title this season. The consistency that he has got, yeah, sure, a 7th place in Canada, but a good podium in Austria. Obviously 2 wins in the season. He's the only other repeat winner apart from myself with 3 wins. He's got 2, but of course, you know, races like Canada, you know, throw a spanner in the works with a DNF and engine failure like that. You know, he's in the mixer, and you know, from the start of the season, maybe unless you were an Alonso fan, you maybe thought, oh, Alonso, he's just had a very good start, he'll peter out. No, him and Aston, they're making upgrades, they're there, and Alonso is honestly, I think, a threat to us in this championship fight. I mean, right now, he's the nearest threat to us, so we have to take him seriously. And to that effect, we spoke about Aston making upgrades, because they have made upgrades enough to be the 2nd best team on paper, just behind us at McLaren. It is finally time for us to purchase our very first upgrade, because so far the only upgrades that have come to the car have been from Lando, because he's earning more R&D with higher recognition, of course, in the team. For me, I'm earning less than him, and also we're on reduced R&D, so that's really made the high inflation so much harder, basically. But we've now earned enough points where we can purchase the drag reduction update and still have 500 points to start building and saving again for a next purchase. But it's now time to show off what we've been cooking for the British Grand Prix, because we do indeed have a special one-off livery. This is our chrome McLaren livery. Of course, McLaren in real life did a chrome livery at the British Grand Prix in 2023. This is my take on it, and it's way more of a homage, I feel, to the old school Vodafone McLaren Mercedes days, which, you know, they were trying to play on last year in real life, but obviously they didn't go for the red colours, but we can here in the game. So with limitations of the chassis and what we can do with where we can actually place the colour and the chrome, etc., this is the nearest thing I could get to a really nice nod and homage to the Vodafone McLaren Mercedes livery, with plenty of chrome on the main part of the chassis. We've got the red on the front wing, the engine cover, rear wing, and I tried to get as much red as I could on the side pods. You would have noticed by now the side pod and the main plane of the front wing, the sponsoring's been changed from Monster Energy to chrome, as in the story here, it would be chrome once again taking over the McLaren livery for one race at the British Grand Prix, but this time they've gone the full way at tipping the hat to that old school fan favourite of a McLaren livery. And the car's not the only thing that's got a unique paint set for this Grand Prix. Obviously, the British GP, it's not only the home race for the team, but it is my home race. So we've got a slightly altered design for our helmet. It's still obviously the same base design with my logo on the side effectively, but now it's all silhouetted in white to really focus on the Union Jack colours. So the Union Jack, that's usually in black and white at the front, is coloured in, and then we've got a length Union Jack down the top that goes very nicely underneath my number 7 number that I've added for Season 2. And then you'll notice on the sides where it's got my logo lettered out, we've also got that coloured in blue to red, but the rest of it in white to really make those colours stand out and obviously kind of mimic, in a way, the England football kit, which is all white with obviously the crest on it, kind of that sort of same vibe. So I think it's come out really nice, and hopefully this combination is going to look rather lovely on circuit, I think, especially from the onboard. That chrome and then the helmet as well is going to really stand out and look very different indeed. But going into this race weekend, what's not different is the pecking order, because a lot of teams plateauing from Austria into Silverstone. You can see ourselves at McLaren, Aston, Merc, Ferrari, Red Bull. I mean, let's first of all, though, just note on that pack behind us of Aston, Merc, Ferrari, Red Bull, this is the biggest indicator. Now that we've got one entire race where you can see the line stretched out, you can hardly tell the difference between any of those teams. It's incredibly close. The driver's going to make the difference, and it seems like going into the British Grand Prix, the only team that's actually brought an upgrade is Williams, so they'll be looking to maybe try and top the kind of chasing pack, if you will, that B pack as we go into the weekend. Let's go to qualifying.
Welcome along, everybody, to a venue that was built for speed. Once an airfield, now one of the finest racetracks in the world. It's qualifying day here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
And it wouldn't be the British Grand Prix if there wasn't some rain involved, of course, but oh, look how good that McLaren chrome livery looks in the cutscene. And even better, out on track with, the sun is trying to peer through the clouds a little bit there. It's making the chrome shine very nicely. The helmet as well. I love this look. Honestly, I love this look. Let me know in the comments below if I should bring back this chrome livery for another race at some point, just because it looks so good. We're focusing less on the looks of the car now and the looks of the track, because it looks rather wet out there, but my engineers have sent me out on the softs. They think that's the right tyre. Everyone is on the softs right now, but in the middle of Maggott and Beckett's, we lose the back end. It's a full pirouette spin in front of that grandstand on the left, and it's just too wet for me, personally. I think it's too wet. I think they've got that wrong. I think it's very much on the crossover for intermediates, but like I said, the sun is trying to peer out a little bit, so, you know, do the teams around us think it's going to dry out? Well, it doesn't. We're now later on into the session. I am the only person on intermediates right now, and we are going much better on the inters. We crossed the line. We're P1, and as much as I'm really happy about being P1 in front of the home crowd here to start off the Saturday, we are 1 second ahead of Leclerc. I'm just starting to think, you know, we recently had a 1.6 patch, you know, that changed some other things in the game. But this is a little bit concerning of how we returned to there being a little bit of funny business with what the AI choose as the correct tyre compound. Because I was the only one on inters, and I was going quicker on inters, and it was the same story in Q2. I was the only driver to pick intermediates. You know, to be fair to the AI, they weren't going hugely slower. To say they were on softs on a wet track like that, they were only 1.2 seconds off the pace. So yes, there was a bit of grip out there, but for me personally, as the lap time says, the stopwatch doesn't lie, I was going quicker on intermediate. So I'm a little bit concerned the 1.6 patch, this is the first episode I've recorded after that patch, has maybe brought back the, you know, wet tire choice issue potentially. But at the same time, it is Silverstone. The weather is a bit of a weird fickle one. We just saw that in the real life British Grand Prix just gone. So into Q3, I decided, for the sake of fairness, and not for the first time, because hopefully you'll remember Season 1 Las Vegas, I was very respectful for the fact that the game glitched and didn't give me a back of the grid penalty, and so I took matters into my own hands and was very respectful that day. And in the same way, I have gone onto the soft compound to match the AI, and to be fair, to my surprise, there was a lot more grip on this lap than in Q1. So it's almost like it is raining, but it's maybe raining just a little bit less. And I actually had enough grip to go around. I wasn't spinning it at Maggott to Beckett's. Don't get me wrong, it's still a little bit slippery out there. But there was some genuine grip out there, and I was going purple in the middle sector. So I chose the softs because of fairness. But in the end, maybe this actually is the right tyre to be on in Q3 at least. In Q1 and Q2, definitely not the way to go. But like I said, it's Silverstone. The weather is so bloody random because it's such a massive area. It's all flat because it used to be an airfield. As we go across the line, oh ho ho! We are only 0.064 off Lewis Hamilton, who is on provisional pole right now at the British GP. He just won the race in real life in front of the adoring crowd. Could he be here getting pole position in game at the British GP? Or can one of us McLarens ruin the party? We're going for another lap. Lando does ruin the party. It's another Brit on provisional pole. It's our teammate, but can we do anything? We weren't looking too quick in sector 1. We've gone yellow, but we've gained a load of time just off on that exit of Maggins and Beckett's, because that was where I had that little snap of oversteer, and that snap of oversteer cost me all the way down this straight, and then through Stowe we were much more aggressive on the turn-in. We're up to about half a second gained as we try and get the nose turned in. The understeer wants to kick in. We're fighting the car, fighting the grip, but we're much better on the exit, even here on the second lap. Across the line, 6/10 gained, and it's pole position at our home race. We have usually never gone well at Silverstone. It is a bit of a bogey circuit, quite funny enough. Very much like my favourite ever F1 driver, Jenson Button. Silverstone's never been a great hunting ground for me on the F1 games. But we're on pole. But look how incredibly close it was. That is unbelievable. 0.046 covering myself, Russell and Hamilton. But wow. Wow, oh wow. It's a top 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for British drivers at the British Grand Prix. Real life Silverstone, eat your heart out. We got that extra 4th driver up there. That is awesome. That is sick. You can see the rain clearly did play a little bit with the grip levels though, because it's such a topsy-turvy qualifying, because Gasly's 1.5 off, Verstappen in the Red Bull is 1 second off, and he's behind Stroll even in the Aston Martin. So clearly some cars and some drivers liking those changeable conditions more than others. So we'll see how maybe Verstappen and the likes of him in Leclerc, for example, could recover. Fernando Alonso's done decent enough in P6. He'll be looking to make some positions. And to be fair, Mercedes, they've kind of really excelled in these conditions where they haven't been looking this outright quick, both of them, for the season so far. This is definitely the strongest Mercedes have looked all season long, very nicely in a very similar fashion to real life actually. So yeah, let's see what tomorrow holds. Will it be another repeat of real life with Hamilton be coming through like he did at Silverstone in just the weekend gone, or can we here in the game convert the pole to a very special win? Let's see. Let's go to the grid.
Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. Straddling the border of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 18 corners of Silverstone Circuit form the 3.6-mile beating heart of Formula One. It's been reinvented over the years, with Turn 1 now the fast right-hander of Abbey, but the magic of racing is as strong here as it's ever been. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. In pole position then, it's McLaren, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Verstappen, Gasly, Perez, Albon, Ocon, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Sargent, Hulkenberg, and Joe Guan Yu. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
So it's a very overcast day for this British Grand Prix, but there isn't any rain forecast for this race. It's going to be a dry one. One stoppers, even with the increased tyre wear that we've been seeing in this season. It is still a one-stop, although myself and Sainz are the only people in the top 5 that have chosen the mediums. I'm planning to go medium hard because, like in real life we saw, the tyre wear is very high. It's a very abrasive circuit, high-speed circuit, so I think the hard tyre is going to perform well for us in the second phase of the Grand Prix, but others going very aggressive on the softs. I'm hoping that those softs really wear out quite quickly, in this first stint, but we're going to have to see. This could be a real big positive for myself or Sainz, or the others are going to have a massive advantage on a softer compounded tyre. I guess we're about to find out, but I'm just happy to be starting the race from pole position, but let's see if we can convert it as we go to 5 red lights here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Lights out, and we're underway. Russell gets a really good start. He's through into first place, but he's so tight at turn 1 that we go through to re-overtake him into Village. We're still leading the race then. Russell momentarily took it, but he really compromised his own line into turn 1, and Lando maintaining third just about. I can see Sainz really giving him a hard time as Stroll, of all people, is up to P5. He's even overtaken his own teammate. Fernando Alonso is, look at that. Russell almost making contact with my rear left tyre as we just are able to slam the door shut onto him before we go into the field, as we now cross the line for lap 2. Fastest lap, of course, being the leader, but now DRS is enabled, and this is where the danger comes. And right now, on heavier fuel, I'm not feeling too great, and I can already tell those soft tyres behind me, they're working well, because Russell gets a beautiful exit, and he's going to pressurize me straight away. We have to try and hold him off. We squeeze him to the inside, go back to the racing line, but we get spooked a little bit at the apex. I didn't want to make any contact with Russell, and in turn, turning away from his front tyre just kind of offset me a bit. If I committed a bit more, maybe would have kept it side by side, but I just didn't want to make contact so early on into this race. Lando now putting me under pressure at this stage of the race. Clearly the softs are the better tyre, but we just need to hold out. That's what me and Sainz will be thinking. Just hold out, hopefully just a couple of more laps, and then those softs will start to wear out. But before that even happens, I think we have a good chance to re-overtake Russell anyway, though, because with DRS, we are able to gain a little bit of ERS usage as well. On the inside, Lando's there as well. Lando going for the double pass. We've both overtaken Russell, but now through goes Lando Norris out of nowhere. On the outside, he's still there. We've clouted the curb. Lando's turn to do it. He hops, skips, and jumps over the curb, and he's going to do it again as he almost mounts the last corner, and we just about maintain first place. It's a McLaren 1-2, just like real life, but that was a real contentious fight. The tension's there, in the air. You can just feel it's a bit different now with myself and Lando Norris. Ever since the Canadian Grand Prix, the team order fiasco, we really wanted to maintain first place there, but he gave it a good go. I was making my own move on Russell, and he just thought, I'll go down the inside of both of you. That was incredible stuff. And now, unfortunately, I'm a sitting duck. I don't have DRS on lap 3 into Stowe. Lando is fully past. I have nothing to defend with him there, and he's fully through. We're understeering now a bit with the dirty air from his rear wing, and we're just going to have to try and stick with him, and stick with him we shall, to try it for the re-overtake. You can see there is a massive amount of dirty air coming off Lando's car, because I'm understeering like nothing now on the front end. Thankfully, we'll punch our way out of it on the inside, get the elbow out, and we're back up into first place. Yellow flags. Oh, who's that? Engine failure. Oh, Ricciardo smashed it. It's Lewis. Ricciardo smashed into a retiring Lewis Hamilton. It was absolute adulation in the real-life British Grand Prix. Here in the game, though, it's utter devastation. Lewis Hamilton out of this one, and Ricciardo with him with that pretty unfortunate, huge crash with the V-carb and the Mercedes car. And for good reason, a lot of debris there. The safety car is out. Now, all of us went round once under the safety car, but on the second lap, I think it's time to come in for a free pit stop onto the hard tyres. What? 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 What just happened? Lando's just overtaken us. We ghosted because the game thought I was overtaking the safety car because I was coming in. What's just happened? We've just been finessed. Oh my. We've just been finessed out of first place, and it's getting even worse. We've now got that double stacking issue where the entire grid has come in. So we have been blocked from coming into our pit box because Lando was blocked by the team ahead of us, which are Aston Martin, by the way, our rivals right now with Fernando Alonso. Oh my God. Speaking of, Lance Stroll's now leading the race. What? Stroll leads from Verstappen in second place in the Red Bull. Lando's come out in third. Really? Really? He's come out in third. So I'm the only one that really lost out on that in this team. Brilliant stuff. Albon, Piastri in the top 5. Some massive winners and some massive losers. But let's take a look at a replay. Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm so done. He has just ghosted through me. Let's pretend like we didn't just see the ghosting. He's basically just overtaken me in the pit entry under full yellows of a safety car. How is that even legal? How is the FIA not slapping him with a penalty? How has our team allowed this to happen? And by the way, look at this. Alonso is the car technically blocking Lando from leaving the pit box. So if you really think about it, the extra pain I received of being stuck in the pit lane was actually dealt by Fernando Alonso. So my own teammate overtook me for first place and put me behind him into the pit box. And then I got held up in that train by our championship rival. Fantastic. Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, we're going green now on to lap 7. We've got a long Grand Prix ahead of us, but we're now down in P13 on these hard tyres. This is a much worse position to be in. If we were in first place on hards, this would be, you know, I would feel good about this. Track position, we've got the more durable compound. But now, as you can clearly tell with the way Perez is walking away from us, the hard tyre, at least in this first lap, basically, where it needs to heat up and fully grip up, it's not that, you know, quick. And to my surprise, it seems like no one has chosen hards. Everyone has gone from their soft compound to the mediums, which is very surprising considering the higher tyre wear levels we've had this season. With the Tyre Wear Mod we've added for a little bit of flavour to this season with pit stop strategy. So that's got me in a massive shock, as now we see Verstappen trying to overtake Stroll for the lead of the race. Alonso sailing around the outside of his fellow compatriot. Alonso's up to P6. Okay, Sainz is on the hard, so it's just me and Sainz then. Both me and Sainz have gone mediums to hards under the safety car. Everyone else has seemingly gone soft to mediums. But we've got to be hoping, and I am hoping, that basically eventually, by the end of the race, those mediums will be so second-hand that these hards will come back towards me. Because right now, they feel like absolute ice. I just have no front grip. It almost feels like I've got front wing damage, but I don't. I've checked the heads-up display. I've asked. Obviously, I didn't hit anything or anyone, so where could I have even got it? But I think it's genuinely just the tyre grip that is not there right now on the hards, and that's how much better the mediums are at the moment. So right now, I'm just dawdling, just trying to stay within a second of Sergio Perez. Meanwhile, at the forefront, there's a great scrap and a half as Lando and Verstappen go either side of Lance Stroll, and then immediately go side by side themselves, as it's Lando versus Max for the British Grand Prix lead. Verstappen, after all of this, after qualifying so far down, leads the British Grand Prix for Red Bull. And I think Stroll there has a bit of damage, you know, to his front wing. Yeah, I think he's got end plate damage. Just take a good look on that right-hand side of the car. There's no end plate there. So Stroll, no wonder he got double overtaken in the same place. He's going to be very slow. So that's going to actually give Albon a chance to get up to P3. But look at Alonso there, lurking P6. Alonso could easily be up to third place if he wanted to. by the time this race ends. Meanwhile, lap 9, I've been told to achieve 9th place in 3 laps. I'm doing the opposite. I'm getting overtaken by the Ferrari, and I'm trying to fight Leclerc a bit, but then I also realise I just don't have any grip to fight him. How on earth Mark thinks I can get P9 in 3 laps is beyond me. And at the moment, it looks like what could have been a fairy tale home Grand Prix for us is unraveling. There could still be a good feel story for the British fans though, because Lando is in 2nd place. The reigning champion now here at his home race is going to get up into 1st place ahead of the Red Bull. But Verstappen and him look in a world of their own, because Albon's up to 3rd, and as much as he's doing amazing, he's not going to be as quick in a Williams obviously. So I think this is just going to be between Lando and Max for the race win. How exciting. But Albon P3 in the Williams is pretty amazing. Piastri up there in the Haas again doing a great job in the Haas car, and the yellow DHL Haas liveried car for this season. And meanwhile, Alonso, of course, just slowly and patiently making his way up. He loves that outside move, it would seem, at Stowe, as he gets up into P4 and his teammate with the damage. Like I said though, even though I would love to see Albon in 3rd, I really do feel like Alonso will be getting 3rd place here. So this isn't great news for me, because right now, sit rep, I'm still in P14. I've not moved a position, and Alonso's almost on the podium. So that might just be my championship lead, waving goodbye to it once again, as we see Alonso making that move around the outside of Albon. Meanwhile, up the road, you may have noticed on the top left, Verstappen has re-overtaken Lando for 1st place. So the leaders are swapping, Alonso's swapping for the podium, and Piastri has just swapped up to 5th place there, doing a fantastic job, like I said. Meanwhile, again, another update. We're still P14, but you can see we're that little bit closer to Leclerc, and there's a huge train ahead of me. So this is the time to start making moves, and what an aggressive move it will be to the inside of Village. I just thought, I saw the train ahead of me, I thought, okay, let's not feel sorry for ourselves, Arav. Let's just roll up our sleeves. Let's just really strangle the neck of this car. Not wrangle, strangle, because it feels so horrendous. And just try and force the pace out of this car. Because great drivers, they can just try and drive anything. And in the past, you guys have told me maybe I've complained too much about the car feeling awful, so let's just try and do something about it and try and just force these moves as we overtake Perez. He's very insistent though of staying on the inside. He's made contact with us. We dived to the inside of Ocon. I was diving Ocon just to try and squeeze out Perez. Perez, absolute menace. He was our rival in Season 1, and we had a few altercations, and he's come back again to hit us there. I thought the move, in my opinion, was fully done on him, okay? He should have backed out of that, but no, he stuck with it, and instead we had a bit of a 3-car bit of contact there as we overtook Ocon eventually. This is actually the replay of that incident, so you just take a look at where we are. We've fully squeezed him out. He's nearly off circuit. I mean, to be fair, he does keep his nose in there, but at the same time, I was just really hoping he would just be backing out of it, because at that point, he wasn't going to actually make the corner properly, and I thought by dive bombing Ocon that Perez would fully back out of it, but he just kept his foot in there, which, to be fair, the AI have been doing all game long. It's the one thing I've actually really enjoyed about them in terms of improvement, as I've said this year, is that they do kind of, actually act more human-like in terms of they're very stubborn, like a real person would be, about not giving up a fight, still going full throttle, even off circuit at times, as we go for a very aggressive move on Bottas. You can see the car is not stable, but I'm getting on with it. I'm taking your feedback for some of you, saying I was complaining too much in previous episodes. I think Monaco is a big one about how bad the car felt. I am just getting on with it. We're getting on with it. We're going to try and drive through the understeer and the lack of stability, and we're going to try and force some grip into these hard tyres. And to be fair, Sector 1, very good sector for us. We're not too quick around Sector 2 or 3, but Sector 1, I'm able to carry a decent amount of speed through those open opening corners. As you can see there, I nearly almost took out Gasly because I closed up so much. But we're up into the points now, into P9. Ahead of us, Russell making a move now on Lance Stroll. Obviously, Stroll with the damage. So could we go for the 2-for-1? Big ballsy move. We're a bit wide. And ironically, Stroll is the one that comes back and re-overtakes me. But we're going to dive him because I know he's not going to have the downforce to turn in with that broken wing. He cuts the curb and we're up into P7. And to be fair, Russell's probably quite pissed off because he was going for an overtake and instead has lost the position and all of that. But unfortunately, Russell's going to have the last laugh because on lap 18, he's going to come knocking. I've not got DRS on the next car up, which is Piastri. And Russell is by, and I can't do anything. There was no point even trying to fight that because he had so much overspeed with the DRS. And so, like when Leclerc overtook us, I'm just hoping we can maybe use Russell's DRS to catch up to Piastri and Sainz up the road. But you can see Piastri's keeping up with Sainz quite well. So, for whatever reason, to my surprise, the hard compound on lap 19, we've still not got an advantage in terms of pace and tyre wear. Clearly the medium's holding up quite well as we see another swap for the race leader. It's oh so close. Lando and Max are loving this area of the circuit. Oh, can Lando keep it side by side? No, he almost got squeezed onto the grass there as the Dutchman takes the lead. It's still Alonso in third, Albon fourth, Sainz ahead of Piastri, and Leclerc has just made a move on Stroll to get up into P10. So to be fair, Leclerc's also another driver maybe not making as much progress as he would like, as we now on lap 22 close up on Piastri, the man who we displaced in season 1 in this alternate timeline of Formula 1, unfortunately. Our engineer wants us to overtake him before the end of the race. In a weird way, that kind of signifies he thinks this is the final overtake we could be making, which is a little bit worrying. But look at the tyre wear we've got as well on that front left, by the way. But right now, focusing on the action, because look at this, a really sweet little battle there. We're getting so close to the Haas, and the Haas has outdone me on the exit. But to be fair to me, I'm saving battery. We could have used more ERS there to get him into cops, but we're going to wait for the move out of Mag into Beckett. Take it nice and easy, go none ERS. We're pretty much pushing Piastri through these corners, so we definitely have some good pace in the corners on hards versus at least the Haas. But other cars that are more, you know, that we should be beating and should be challenging in terms of R&D, you know, the higher up teams, the hards haven't really been that great. We've overtaken Piastri now, but that actually might be it, because Sainz and Russell, they're way too far up the order. As on to lap 23, Leclerc now has woken up in this race, and he absolutely sends it into turn 1. It's a great little overtake from the Ferrari here to recover into P8 at least. But yeah, my hards, Sainz's hards, really not much of an advantage. I'm very surprised. But like I said briefly in the middle of that Piastri fight, remember, on that heads-up display, we had so much tyre wear on the front left. So, heaven forbid, if I went on to mediums, like if I did the soft medium strategy in this race like the AI, I would have been screwed, I'm thinking. I think the AI have just been godlike with the tyre wear this race, and I've really suffered with that front left, which has clearly been an annoyance. I think with that, we've actually made the most of it. I'm actually very happy with 7th place, because it was looking pretty, pretty dire earlier on in the race. As we see now, Lando, he was in first. He's defending Max, but Max slips on through. But can Lando keep his foot in? Yes, he can. This time they will be neck and neck at the final corners. No, Verstappen squeezed out. You can see the dust kicks up from the grass, and Lando maintains first place. It's still the same pecking order ahead of us, but now we are fighting Leclerc, of all people, lap 24. I thought we got rid of this guy when we overtook him earlier, but no, Leclerc has got a second wind, as it were, on this medium compound tyre, and he's done us. But oh man, look at that, 40% on the front left. I genuinely think if I had done soft medium, I actually would have been doing a 2-stop in this race, but the AI are very happily doing a 1-stop. That's mad. So I'm actually quite lucky we definitely chose the hards, because we could have been in an even worse position. But look at this. Oh, on the third last lap, Verstappen retakes Lando. I think that fight for first place is going right to the last lap, which is going to be very exciting indeed as we go for the repass on Leclerc. Chuck it down the inside, go on power! Oh, mamma mia! What a drift! What a save! And what an overtake! My heart was in my mouth there. I don't think you realise how much of a great drift and save that was. Let's look at a replay, because watch this. This is the moment where I deploy ERS halfway through the corner, and then that massive snap that I made a huge error putting overtake mode on. Look at this. Oh my God. Leclerc was going off circuit anyway, but that drift was incredibly well held to make that overtake and basically smooth out that mistake I made. As we now go back to the live action, and Lando has just overtaken Verstappen for the lead once again on towards the last lap of the Grand Prix. But that means Verstappen is the one chasing. I fear that may be the better position to be in onto the last lap. Meanwhile, Sainz and Russell have been swapping. Right now, Sainz actually ahead of Russell, so eventually it seems like Sainz's hards have been working, and maybe it's a Ferrari thing, because both Ferraris, they've come alive at the end of this race as we have to really squeeze out Leclerc in the same place we did last time to stay ahead in P7. But yeah, maybe it's just a Ferrari thing that they've come alive at the end of the race, whether they're on hards or mediums, because I haven't had that second wind like Sainz seemingly has. For the last lap in this Grand Prix, we watch that gorgeous chrome McLaren come through now. Luffield with Lando Norris leading the way, but will it be the lead as they cross the line? I am very concerned about Verstappen saving battery, saving the overtake for the very last straight. This is the last lap. This is it. So Lando really needs to pull out a good defense, but Verstappen, you can just feel that confidence oozing from that Red Bull Honda as he comes through and slingshots through the left-hander. DRS will be open. I'm sure a bit of battery use, and it's going to be British heartbreak here as on the last lap into Stowe, the final sector, Max Verstappen takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. To be fair, he's played that really tactically spot on. Verstappen wins the race from like P9 or 8 on the grid. A very impressive drive, helped out a little bit by the safety car, obviously, with the jumping up a few positions, but you can't deny he had the pace, because he had the pace to overtake a McLaren that was fighting for the front the entire time. As we hold on to P7, it is not a lucky number P7 though for us today. That's gutting. That's gutting. This livery, this helmet deserved more. But in a weird way, obviously, like a lot of times in F1, a special livery like this doesn't pan out for us. That race was meant to be a fairy tale, and it very much unraveled.
The checkered flag is out. We're going to be hearing that Dutch national anthem again, because it's victory for Max Verstappen.
To do it as a team on home soil, that really means something special, and you can see how much it means to them, the drivers involved as well. Great job by them today, of course, as always. But for the fans watching on too, a great display of teamwork here today.
It's Verstappen's second win of this season, and with that, finally, I think we can say Verstappen might be starting to build momentum for his championship bout. It's very close to the top. Only 18 points covering myself, Alonso, Verstappen and Norris. 2 points to Alonso. Alonso gained a lot here with me being down in P7, but it's all to play for. 4 challenges for the driver's title, you could say. Really, with a bigger gap than to, the Ferraris and the Mercedes. But Mercedes looked good this weekend. It was unfortunate for them with Hamilton retiring and Russell obviously also falling victim to the safety car. I think we have to watch out for other teams being a spanner in the works. Haas, Williams up there taking points away from me, crucially, to be down in P7. So it is really starting to just heat up more and more and more in this season 2. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.